All right. We've got Tour of the Gila Stage 3 recap coming up here with Steven. Let's get him added to our live stream. If you didn't catch stages 1 and 2, you can find those both in our real history and then also on our YouTube channel. I put those up there.
Hello,
Yeah,
hello.
hello. We've got tour of the
Hey,
Airbnb or
I need to go headphones out.
phone headphones out. All right, commando.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. How you doing?
Stand by.
Standing by.
Stand by, my man. Okay, yeah, we're in business. I got
Now
you
we
loud and
are.
clear.
All right. How was
All
day
right.
3?
We are so back. We are so back. See, you
Um,
got the pasta game going strong there, yeah?
very much so. Yeah, it's much needed. I think I was carb deficient going into the afternoon here. Didn't have much of a lunch, but we're
Carbs
making
are
it up.
important. We're big carb fans over here.
All right.
So,
Yeah, let's see. I've got I forget what these are called, but my new go-to has been when I make the pasta, I have I have some lentils that I've kind of pre-cooked and put in the fridge for fast use when I make like a sauce, and it ends up making it kind of like a meat sauce texture.
mm. You know
And it
what they
was
say, lentils are life.
that, yeah. Well,
I
the
just
cool
made that
thing
up,
is
but
that's what they say it. Um, the cool thing is I realized that I could make my lentils really fast and really easily with my Instant Pot, which I had actually bought to wax my chain. So here we are.
it's pre-seasoned. Yeah,
hmm
okay.
I do use a
Mm.
different stainless liner. I have a chain wax one and I have a food one.
I mean, you just got to work on that internal lubrication, man. Like,
Also, yeah, we
just
could
just be one with the chain. Yeah.
call Josh at Silva and ask him what the recipes that he has are. So tell us about day 3, man.
Yeah, day three, the Interloop Road Race. This was about a 76-mile road race. Ended in a basically a big bunch sprint, which it usually does, but not always. It can sometimes be pretty selective. Today was pretty chill. I'm going to be honest. I thought it felt a lot chiller than I expected or thought it might be. I think a big element of that was the Project Echelon team really just doing a lot to lock down the front.
hmm
We only had one kind of tentative breakaway that stayed away until the top of the first climb, where there were some KOM points on offer, and then they got hunted down. I mean, they never got more than 30 seconds. And then
Wow.
after that, really, it was just yeah, the front was pretty locked down, and that actually made it super chill. So we the way that this stage goes is you kind of have some sprint points like pretty quick out of the gate, maybe 10K in, I think. You have a climb to the first KOM point. There's a bit of descending and then some more climbing to the second KOM point, and then there's a really like fast and technical downhill with a lot of switchbacks
Mm.
that dumps you out into a valley, and then there's just kind of this long valley and one more climb before you end up back where you started for a sprint finish. Um, the valley was super chill because there wasn't a breakaway and the front was just locked down. So, it was happy days. Go back to the car, get some bottles, pick up some bottles for teammates, and yeah, all the boys stayed safe.
Good.
We all finished in the lead group,
Awesome.
and I think it was about as chill as it could be. And I think it gave me a lot of confidence heading towards day 5 that I can continue to recover a little bit from being sick last week. Kind of
Yeah.
get some of the crap out of my lungs, and I felt like I was never under very much pressure at all today. So that gives
Good.
me a lot of confidence
Yeah.
heading towards the final stage.
Yeah, I know one of your comments, I think it was yesterday, is like as long as you're finishing with the main group, it's a good day, and it sounds like mission accomplished.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I had some fun using the GoPro too to film some of the descents. So
Nice.
got a few clips from that. I'm looking forward to sharing a little bit more of that in some some longer content for them when I get back home. But
Yeah, that'd be
yeah,
awesome.
it's pretty wild too doing these descents in a big peloton. You know, there's a wide range of skills, and that's something that you have to learn to navigate. I think in these races, you know, personally, I would rate myself as like a middle of the road descender. I'm neither great nor terrible. So I feel reasonably, you know, confident and competent on some of these descents. And there are some guys who will just run all the risks and, you know, clearly are not 34 years old with a advanced degree or whatever. Um, the flip side of the coin is you get some people who they just can't figure it out, you know. And I don't want to name names, but often it's actually foreign riders. And yeah, there were definitely some instances of guys that were just being really tentative, especially on the first descent, and that kind of opening up some splits that just made life really unnecessarily difficult. So this was a good stage to kind of learn who those people are and learn, like, okay, stage 5 or even in the criterium tomorrow, like, I want to be in front of them when it's
Hmm.
fast and technical,
Yeah.
because they're just going to create trouble for me and all my buddies.
Is Project Echelon now leading the general classification?
Yeah, so the situation is Project Echelon has the red leaders jersey for the overall lead. They also have the white jersey for the best U23 rider. We
Mm.
have one of our riders, Braden Sellinger, who's I think in sixth in that competition, and looking to move up, I think, over the next 2 days. And then the other hard hitting team here is Olinka, Mexican team. They have the KOM jersey, and they also just claimed the sprint jersey today because their sprinter won the final sprint
Oh wow,
at the end of the stage.
cool.
So yeah, it's kind of all the marbles are in two teams' hands right now. But you know, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Anything can happen on day 5. So
Yeah. Do you think, because I know I've seen Project Echelon in some videos online doing crits. Do you think they're a team to watch tomorrow? Because isn't tomorrow the crit stage?
yeah, yeah. In the past, they've really like had their way with this. I remember it was either a year or two ago that Cade Bickmore went into that stage with 0 sprint points, and he mopped every single intermediate and the finish,
Jeez.
and completely cleaned up the sprint competition in one race. So, you know, if they want to try to get like Scott McGill or Sam Boardman into that competition, I think they could absolutely do it tomorrow. But honestly, I think that their priorities will just be kind of will be competing for the stage win, but also keeping their GC leader Kieran Haug safe. So
And I guess question related to crits, because
mhm.
I always get a sense that crits are inherently a little more dangerous. They're a little like sketchier, just with all the turns and tight technical work and really fast and jostling for position. Is there something to think about for all the riders where like people are coming in pretty fatigued and maybe you've got people that are crit riders, some people that aren't? Does that kind of naturally create a little bit of a separation out of the gate with your stronger crit riders kind of going and getting like maybe in a break or something like that? Like what kind of goes through your head, your team's head, and you think other riders with kind of all that in mind?
Yeah, big race crits are a bit of a different beast to maybe like the standalone crits that you might see that get a lot of coverage. So stage race crit like this, you know, you've got some people who are there to try to compete and win that crit. Maybe they've even just been trying to get through the first 3 days just so that they can compete in the crit. So they're like 100% locked in on that. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you know, you've got people who are maybe GC riders or climbers who are just looking forward to the next day, and they just want to get there with like the minimum expenditure of energy, right?
Right.
I think I would classify myself as the latter category for sure. Yeah, and you know this crit in particular, it's a fairly straightforward crit. It's a 4 corner crit. It's got kind of one climb on the back section, so it's fairly climby, and there's you know the flip side of that is there's also a fairly fast descent in there towards the final turn, and it's got pretty bad asphalt. It is chunky. It's So this is a crit where um, your handling, but also like your bike and your equipment choices can really come into play because it's like, what lines do you choose? How do you avoid all the worst asphalt? There's some people who are still out there running tubes, like if you can believe it. Here we are in 2025, and like guarantee you, someone will nail some chunky asphalt and pinch flat.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that does play a role, I think, in a crit like this, but it's not a very hard one to ride efficiently if you know what you're doing, and if you're just very smooth with everything. And so that's where too, having a lot of international riders who don't really race crits all the time like we do in the U.S. They're sometimes not as efficient with it as
Yeah.
they could be.
And gotta ask it just in the spirit of modern bike commentary. What kind of tires do you
Hmm.
think are the best to run if it's kind of chunky, crappy asphalt and but you want to have good handling and all that? I mean, what's kind of the standard that folks are going to be looking at?
I mean, 30s would be great on something like this. Maybe even
Hmm.
32 if your frame can fit it. I don't think that it's really that important, like tire width here. I've just got my Badone with 28 millimeter gauge GP 5000s.
Hmm.
It's just kind of like the gold standard.
Yeah.
Nobody you just put them on and don't really think about it anymore.
Right.
But I'll be running relatively low pressure, and because I'm tubeless, I know that as long as I don't like absolutely smack something really, really hard, I'm going to be fine.
Hmm.
So
Awesome.
and
So
and you can do a
what's
lot to like mitigate the risk of mechanicals by just the lines that you choose and the way that you ride and the way that you weight the bike up and over some of this stuff. So
right? What's on the recovery menu this evening? What's for dinner and what's on the chill menu?
Costco lasagna and non-alcoholic beers. Yep. Um, yesterday was salmon. Lots of rice. These boys, they really love their rice. I'll tell you. I showed up with a 25-pound bag of rice that I bought from an Asian supermarket back in Tucson, and it's like, I think they considered it a challenge. Can we consume all of this rice in 5 days? So they're putting a pretty good dent in it.
All right,
But
it'll be
yeah, tonight is lasagna and some veggies, and yeah, we keep it relatively simple.
right on. Well, looks like you had great weather so far. It's not,
Yeah.
well, I guess I wouldn't expect rain, but I mean, gosh, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's really lovely out here, coming to you from the backyard this time. And today was, I think the highs were in the mid 70s,
Oh,
lows of the high 40s in the morning. But it warms up so quickly too. I wore a jacket to the start, and by the time I got there, I was like, I'm too warm. So
right.
yeah,
Oh
we really
man,
lucked out, and the wind hasn't even been very strong here. It can
perfect.
really kick up a lot. So we've been very lucky with the weather this year.
Yeah. Well, hopefully tomorrow we can get Peter Schmidt on with us for a recap. I know he wanted to join tonight, but had to do dinner. So I guess we got two more of these. And yeah, you may have seen I posted the other ones in their long form on YouTube for kind of easier consumption if folks want to go watch that. For the two people that may, end up watching this. But hey, it's recorded. And then yeah, once we get the GoPro footage sorted out and you're back and recovered and stuff, we can maybe even see if there's any particular times or even do like an overall 5 race recap with some of the cool highlights you've captured.
Yeah, I'd love to do some long form content when I get back. It might be like 2 weeks from now because if I'm turning right around, I'm going to do Tour de Bloom in Washington after this. So,
Cool.
I'm going to be creating more content than I know what to do with for a while here. But
It's a good problem
it's
to
really
have.
it's really fun, and yeah, I should be able to capture some good stuff from the crit tomorrow.
Sweet. All right. Well, hey, rest up. We will talk to you tomorrow and yeah, enjoy the lasagna.
All right, may the spid be with you.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.